Homegrown Rocker guest interview coming from on location this evening from a deep, dark studio location, the Hoffer Studio, somewhere in the backwoods of northern Cambria County between Carrolltown and Patton and a few other villages I probably am not thinking of at the moment. But yeah, we have the members of Nag Champions Mystery Band with us this evening on the program. And I guess I'll start on my immediate left with Derek here. Introduce yourselves. What do you do in the group?
My name is Derek Gresh. I sing and play guitar and probably some other things too, and along with write the songs.
I'm Ed, and I do percussion, and I also do a little bit of the engineering of the sound.
And I'm Tim Homersky, and I played bass, keyboards, and flute, and some banjo on the project.
And everything else.
Yeah, lots of things.
All right. And as I understand it, there's a bunch of guest musicians that help out on this project, too. We'll get into them here in a little bit. I know Mr. Rick Ramsey's involved with it and a few others. I guess, how did the project come together? Give us the story of how Nag Champions came to be.
All right. So basically, backwards about a year to a year and a half, the last decade or so, I had played in bands with my musical mate, associate Chris Capcella, and just almost about a year ago, he moved away, so that was kind of dissolving of all my other musical projects once and for all. And I had kind of thought of making a band and making an album that was my own thing. I didn't know really what I was going to do with it, whether I was going to make a group out of it or I was just going to record some stuff or who I was going to get involved. But I had actually known Ed since grade school. In middle school, we had our first band together. We played the 7th and 8th grade talent show. So that was actually just about 20 years ago to the formation of this band. So I knew he'd played percussion and stuff and seen him out. And I was just like, I got to get him in this band. And, all the other people left. So I had to start a new group and we just started kind of recording and doing this together. And then Tim hopped along. He introduced me to Tim and I was just like, so amazed that he even wanted to be involved with it and like the songs, and I was just super impressed with like everything he did, and it just turned out really awesome. It was just a magical series of events kind of thing.
All right, and I'm sure something that the listeners are probably interested in. How did you come up with the name Nag Champions? What's the name about?
Well, the Nag. Well, you say Nag, I say Nog. We were just talking about this. Either way is okay. But it was from the Nag Champa incense. The beloved incense from India that everyone knows so well, I guess. It's a super popular incense among weirdos like us, I guess. And that was just, I had the band name probably before I had the band. I had some songs and stuff, and I didn't know if I was going to make like a solo album or make some group, but I was like, if I do something, I'm going to call it Nag Champions. And then the whole mystery band portion of it, I guess, came about with just that. I didn't know if I was going to have a band or who was going to play on it, and then it kind of, people just appeared at the right times in the right places, and it's kind of like you never know what you're going to get with us. You never know who's going to play or who's playing on what kind of deal. So that's the mystery of it.
All right, very interesting story. How would you describe the sound of Nag Champions? What all comes into this musical stew?
You guys can take one. Take a. What do you think? For you guys. I kind of created a lot of the stuff, so I have my own.
I feel like there's a lot of different sounds and feelings that go along with the album. Like he had said, there's dark and light. Some of it is fun and whimsical, and other stuff is just kind of ambient and just relaxing to listen to.
Anything to add?
Well, yeah. Well, I think a lot of several of the songs, at least, remind me of very old influences. Actually, I mean, they have. I know that Derek is a lover of classic, a lot of classic stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
So I see that inside of it there, and that's what I liked about it. Was it's a new idea, but it's still with respect to old classic concepts too.
Yeah, for sure. Exactly, pretty much what you guys said. I always like that stuff and the classic, like warm, sort of familiar sound, but it's a new take on that, and a lot about the balance, kind of what Ed was saying, and we kind of when we were first forming, we're actually both Libras, and we always use that Libra symbol, and it's all about like the balance of the dark and the light. So a lot of that kind of stuff, and the hard and the soft, or the kind of like dream reality kind of balance thing going on a lot, just as a kind of signature thing of the band, whatever that means.
Definitely a sound that can't be pigeonholed, that's for sure.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, well, let's give the folks a taste of something from Nag Champions. What would you like to say about Fertile Crescent?
Okay, so this is like a little bit of it's kind of a feminine song. I don't know, in a certain way, since it's Mother's Day, and it has a little bit of that sacred feminine quality, and it's a kind of I guess one, if you're gonna say anything about it, kind of, don't worry, forget about your troubles kind of thing, but also in a way, in that counterbalance kind of thing, it's a little bit of a jab too. A little bit of a pokey jab, but also balanced with that, okay, don't worry about it, so it's sort of that you're never quite sure if it's a happy song or a sad song, so you're open to interpretation there.
All right, well, listeners, let's interpret it. Let's give it a listen. Check it out, Fertile Crescent. Again, Nag Champions music off their CD, and you are hearing it on the Homegrown Rocker. Welcome back to the Homegrown Rocker. I'm the Professor Jim Price. Again, this week's conversation coming to you from the Hoffer Studio, located in northern Cambria County, somewhere between Patton and Carrolltown, PA. And we have Nag Champions with us in the studio, and we're going to talk a little bit more about the debut CD, Nag Champions Mystery Band. Where was it recorded? Am I guessing correctly if I say right here where we're sitting?
Yes, sirree.
Most of it was recorded here. We did a couple of Tim's tracks at his studio as well.
Okay, so definitely local studios, and that's a cool thing. Yep. Did you have an idea what you wanted the finished CD to sound like, or was this a project where the sound kind of came together as you went along? Was it an open-ended thing as you approached recording it, or did you have a pretty good idea what you wanted everything to come out with?
A little bit of both, but very, very open-ended. I mean, I had some of the structures of the songs, and I kind of had an idea of the feeling, or the overall kind of quality to it, or the feeling, or the kind of retro sound, all those little pieces. But as far as like the music and the notes and things like that, that was kind of always open, and is almost still open to interpretation. It's very loose, open-ended kind of group and a kind of sound. I think and the more we play and develop and stuff, I think that'll come out more too.
All right, and of course, Derek, for those not listening or who have not familiar with the name, Sunflower Spectacle and Addie Cornley, which were also very open-ended projects too.
Yeah, and that was, like I said, I had played in those groups probably the last 10 years or so, and all of them involved Chris, who was like my musical partner for so long, and it was such a weird series of events that happened with this band, because right when he kind of like moved out of the picture, that was right when Ed stepped in, and also kind of like a side note, at that exact same time, I started messing around and doing the open mics up in Evansburg around town and stuff, and I had gotten hooked up with this guy named Mike Mad Dog Reed, and he run the open mics with his son. And coincidentally, at that exact same time, his son was moving away, and I kind of stepped into that and filled in that spot. So it was just this weird synchronicity type events that happened at that period. It was the kind of the turning of the page, and then the new chapter just right there. So you had to go with it.
Planets realigned in a new way.
Exactly.
Did any interesting, strange, or unusual stories or situations happen during the recording? Were there any interesting stories that emerged?
Stories. I don't know. I was surprised. I mean, I shouldn't be, because it's like the purpose of art and music and all that stuff is to kind of, release tension or release anxiety, among other things, or get something off your chest, and it was really apparent to me after I recorded a lot of this stuff that I was actually like, turning a lot of that like negative stuff into positive music and art. And I never really thought about that before, and it never really occurred to me. But this is a lot more personal stuff. I guess it's kind of my own thing. So I don't know. It was surprising to me, but in a good way. It felt really good, and I mean that's what music and art is for, I guess, too.
Yeah, music and art is therapy, I guess, a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. Exactly. Yes.
All right. For folks who are enjoying what they are hearing this evening, how can they get a hold of this album?
They can check it out on Bandcamp, Spotify, and YouTube. Just look up Nag Champions. You can Google us. We're also on Facebook. So.
Yep, and when you're looking, NAG Champions,
Yes.
Champions, not nog like an eggnog. All right, Let's go with another song off the CD. What would you like to tell us about The Jar?
Okay, this is a little bit darker, maybe weirder, and I think this has in correspondence with the whole balance thing that everything has. This has a little bit more of that poking, jabbing quality, be kind of don't listen to the masters kind of thing. So it has that running through it, and a little bit of dark mystery kind of thing. So that this is one to balance out the happier ones.
Let's check it out. The Jar by Nag Champions. And again, you are hearing it on the Homegrown Rocker on 105.9 QWiK Rock.
Hey boys, we'd love to have you on, but the sets are over time and the songs are too long. On and on. You listen to the king and everything he sings, and everybody knows just what to wear. How you dress yourself and cut your hair.
And again, on the Homegrown Rocker, our conversation coming to you from the Hoffer Studio, located between Patton and Carrolltown, PA. We are speaking with Tim, Ed, and Derek of Nag Champions this evening. And let's talk creative process a little bit. How do you come up with your songs? Is there a set process, or is it, as we kind of established, more of an open-ended, how do things come together?
At least for this first album, I had a lot of the songs at least sort of made up over the last year or so. Like I said, I was kind of planning it out, and I didn't know really what it was going to be initially. So that was kind of on this one, but I think going forward, it'll be a lot more of a kind of, we're all here, and maybe we'll have a little bit planned out, or I have a little bit of structure, but it'll be more of a group effort, a simultaneous, creative group effort all at once, I think, moving forward here.
Yeah. I think a thing I'd like to mention is just that whenever I was introduced to the project, Ed had come to me and just said, a friend of mine, I didn't even know Derek at that time, he said, we have some guitar tracks recorded and some drum things, and would you want to play on it? And I said, well, sure, I'd love doing that kind of thing. And so I really had no idea what I was in for. I shouldn't say that way. But I mean, I really didn't know what it was. So that end of it, I think, made it kind of, I think there's a certain kind of magic that can happen whenever when you have no expectations. And so when I heard it, I approached it that way. Like when I heard it, I thought, I'm going to make up something that I think he was thinking. That's what I tried to make it.
Yeah.
I know enough as opposed to like, what would I like it to sound like? I didn't think that. I thought more about, what's this guy, listening to what it sounds like, what's he thinking? And that's how I kind of came up with what I did, I guess.
Very interesting, creative approach. What inspires the lyrics of Nag Champions? Are there any particular themes you like to write about, or is it again pretty much open ended?
I try not to really narrow it down to make songs about one certain thing, or this is a story about this. It's pretty open ended, vague kind of ideas, more along the lines of kind of imagery and colors and words that sound interesting together and rub off each other in a neat way. More of that, a little bit of the storytelling in there, and little aspects of maybe real life, but a lot of that dreamy kind of stream of conscious, more psychedelic-y kind of lyrics. So nothing you can really pin down, again, as usual.
So again, song ideas that leave the interpretation up to the listeners
for
to
sure.
figure out what it is.
Exactly.
What do you hope listeners will come away with from hearing your music?
I just hope that people really can cleanse themselves a little bit while listening to the music. You take a ride or a walk, you listen to the music, and you can kind of bounce around with all the different emotions in your head and kind of give yourself a new, fresh perspective on your day.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
It's great morning time music.
Yeah, and I just thinking about it a little bit, it's something that's, no, I don't want to say like easy listening, but it's easy to listen to. It's familiar, and it's not something you have to think about or take a bunch of time to listen to or anything. It's just something that's easy, and it's fun, and it might make you think a little bit, or maybe it'll take you somewhere. Just to take that time out of your day and kind of dream on somewhere else.
All right, let's go with another track. What would you like to say this time about "Take Me Home"?
All right.
Take Me Home was a pretty interesting song. He came here and Derek did and played the song, and we just did one track with him singing and playing at the same time, and it was such a cool, neat little tune. And I just thought we need to get so many other people involved with this. So we had Rick Ramsey came up and did a banjo track, and I had my friend Anastasia Stankiewicz, we call her Stasi. She came up from Las Vegas, was in, and she cut a vocal track on it as well. But Tim did all kinds of really cool stringed instruments on this track. What was the one instrument you used? It was
the bandello.
A bandello. Yeah. Explain the bandello a little bit.
Yeah, it's like a little. It looks like a banjo, but it's all solid wood. There's no skin head on it, and it's actually tuned like a mandolin. So it's an unusual sound, but yeah.
Very cool, and man, that's always kind of interesting to me when you get the different types of unusual instrumentation that you don't hear all the time. So a very interesting aspect there. All right, well, let's check it out. Take Me Home, Nag Champions music, and again, you are hearing it on the Homegrown Rocker.
Found my way on a path, it was covered in hair. I was gone for so long, no one found me there. I walked for 20 miles and I never heard a sound. Then I felt a beat on the ground. Take me home, morning sun, won't you come? Take me home, morning sun, take me home. Been gone so long, I forgot where I'm from. Been gone so long, I forgot where I'm from.
And if you're tuning in late to the Homegrown Rocker this week, our conversation this week coming to you from a remote studio location in northern Cambria County, Pennsylvania. We're somewhere between Patton and Carrolltown, the Hoffer Studio, where I'm interviewing Derek, Ed, and Tim of Nag Champions. And I got to throw in, we have a videographer in the room, too. Joe Conyers with us. Joe, say hello.
Howdy do.
Yes, Joe is recording all this for posterity tonight. And he also sits in with Nag Champions, too. We should establish that. And that kind of gets into my next aspect of the conversation, and that is the live stage. Are you guys bringing this project to the live stage, and how is the live show coming together?
We've been practicing a lot on the live stuff, trying to nail down exactly what we want to do live, maybe who we want to work with live, and try to get a few more people involved. We'd like to do some stuff here throughout the summer and fall, hopefully, maybe, and possibly collaborate with some other local artists, something like that.
Yeah, we got it in the works here. We're working on some things and availability and the time slots, but whenever we can, we're going to be out there. And so, and then for sure, in the next year or so, we'll be doing some pretty interesting things, I think.
All right, and I know it's probably early in the process, but are you looking at it as an all original live project, or are you thinking about doing any cover material mixing in, or how's that? Or that's still something that's still coming together?
It's still coming together a bit. I mean, primarily the live stuff, and extending that and doing some sort of improvisational whatever comes with it. But for sure, throwing in the occasional covers, depends on where or the crowd. We're definitely open to that. When we play here, we'll do a little bit of everything. So. Hopefully we're prepared for any of that, so we'll just be able to do anything we feel like kind of doing.
And that's the thing with being open ended too, is that you can pretty much control your destiny on the live stage. All right, how has response been to Nag Champions so far from people who have heard the music?
A lot of people that I've talked to said they really like it's very familiar sound. They say, from what I've heard.
Yeah, and I got a ton of positive response. I was, really excited that so many people, liked it and said so many nice things about it. I feel like it was like one of the only projects I did in the last couple of years or so that so many people responded with such kind words and everything, and had such nice things to say about it. And Ed and everybody getting it out there and kind of promoting it, and even you, Jim, and everybody just, putting out the kind words. So it's been great.
All right, let's check out another track off the CD at this point. This is one of the ones that's intrigued me in listening to the CD, Subterranean Chamber Waltz. What would you like to say about this?
Okay, so this is another one of those weirder ones to kind of balance out the light. So it's a little bit darker and more mysterious. One of my interests, and I think I can say this for all of us, is just, ancient civilizations, mysteries, and astrology, and, the pyramids and chambers and all this kind of stuff. So it plays into a little bit of that, and along with the sounds and the instrumentation in it, there's some cool kind of fitting things, I guess, to that imagery and theme going on in there. If you want to, I don't remember what all is even in this song. What
there's a lot of odd stuff.
Yeah,
I for one thought the song really took shape as soon as Tim got a hold of it and put some key tracks on it. It really took shape and kind of really takes you to, like he says, some kind of chamber, some kind of castle feeling. It's very interesting feeling whenever you listen to the song.
Yeah, even a little bit of a medieval.
Yeah, medieval, sure. Yeah, got the waltz going on in there, a little bit of that. Yeah, all that old kind of ancient imagery and theme going on in there.
All right, let's check it out. Again, Subterranean Chamber Waltz, music from Nag Champions, and we're hearing it on the Homegrown Rocker.
Inside the hall, along the ancient wall, morning on the rise, darkness in the skies. Let the song begin, play it all again.
Welcome back to the Homegrown Rocker. Once again, I'm the Professor Jim Price. The interview coming to you this week from the Hoffer Studio, located between Patton and Carrolltown in northern Cambria County. And again, we have Derek, we have Ed, we have Tim of the Nag Champions Mystery Band. And, of course, you guys are very busy musicians. Derek, we've kind of established that some of your projects have kind of gone on the back burner with people moving away. Ed, Tim, talk about what you're involved with in the moment. Ed, I know Born in a Beanstalk.
Yeah, when I first started playing, I played with Rick Ramsey a lot. And like I said, he was on the one track here, and he always kind of guided me a lot. And I always followed Tim here with his band Acoustic Stew, and just thought that they, admired these guys and thought they did a really great job. And so they're kind of an inspiration to me to get started in music and get out there. Yeah,
I still play with Acoustic Stew. I've lately been trying to spread myself out a little bit. I really enjoy putting myself into different musical situations a lot. Especially as you get older, I think that's important, because otherwise you're going to go still. You got to look for the new thing and open your mind to the new thing. And so I've been playing bass with a couple. I played a couple jobs with Rick Ramsey, playing bass with him. Played bass with Born in the Beanstalk. I played with occasionally with White Shadow, playing guitar with them, filling in gigs. So I like to try to get around rather than have myself just locked down with one situation right now. So
very cool. So a lot of different variety going on as far as the various projects you're with.
Yeah.
As far as your immediate future plans for Nag Champions, what do you see on the horizon? Is more recording in your future?
Yeah, for sure. That's in the works now. I have a lot of that planned out, and we've kind of ironed some things out since the first one. It was kind of just, we had no idea on the first one what was happening that much, or as far as the band goes, or what we were going to do. So now I think we have a better idea of that, and yeah, for sure recording. Probably, hopefully, in this next year, have something at least recorded, if not released again, and playing out, as much as we can then too.
And what do you hope to achieve long term with Nag Champions? Are you looking at any long term goals down the line with the project?
Something like that he has said to me is like, we're going to be hopefully embedded in Cambria County as something that people can look back and see and remember and kind of hold our music is timeless.
Yeah, and we've also been talking a lot about with the internet and technology and the, how easy it is to record everything and keep it on the internet or on the cloud or on file or whatever. I just like the idea of kind of recording everything and keeping that on an archive somewhere, or just keeping all that music and all that material to whatever to do with it in the future, if you use it or not, or maybe you'll go back to it and say, this stuff was really good, or make something new out of it years down the line. Who knows? I'm very open to all that kind of stuff too.
Capturing all the ideas, because who knows where it might come into play later on. Interesting. Let's see. Let's go with another track at this point from the CD, Morning Star Afterglow.
All right. So this one is a little bit of a more mellow, I guess, softer one. It's kind of a late night after midnight kind of song that just kind of takes you into the dreamland. It's nowhere in particular, no story in particular, but it has elements, again, with all those other things of that little jabby quality, along with that softness and the easygoingness. There's a little bit of that pokiness that balances out, the soft and the hard, or the happy and the sad kind of feel to it. So it's kind of a late night jam, I guess.
Let's check it out. Morning Star Afterglow. Again, Nag Champions music, and you are hearing it on the Homegrown Rocker.
That the honky tonks have all been closed. We got no place to go. Baby, won't you take me down somewhere slow? Then we're stuck in the afterglow, 80 funny the way it goes. Baby, ain't just one dream enough to know.
And one more time with feeling, this week's Homegrown Rocker interview coming to you from the Hoffer Studio, located between Patton and Carrolltown, northern Cambria County. And again, we have Derek, we have Ed, we have Tim of Nag Champions Mystery Band. And I should ask, and even though the project's relatively young as projects go, what would you call the most rewarding part of this project so far? What do you like most about Nag Champions?
Oh, geez. For me, it's like everything. This is like everything I wanted for a long time to me. So it's just for Tim to even play in the band is awesome for me, and to have an album of original music and just the positive response for me. Everything's awesome.
For me, just being able to be part of something that is putting art together and all the different feelings together into one, capturing it all into one thing that anybody can experience is just really cool to me.
Yeah, and with myself, like I said, these guys, I've known Ed for a while. I just met Derek during the beginning of this thing, so it's been great. It's been a great experience for me, taking a different view at how younger guys, these are younger guys to me, but we're good friends, and there's that tie between the old timers and the young guys, and I like to keep that, and not isolate yourself musically. We try to get into their world and see their viewpoint, their musical viewpoint, how things are. And I enjoy it. It's been great.
All right. Is there anybody behind the scenes that you would like to thank or acknowledge? Any support players in this project that you'd like to recognize at this point?
Definitely Joe Conyer here.
Yes.
Yeah, he's been helping us out since the beginning, and he's been helping me out here in the studio ever since I first started working here. Any project that I had going on, he would always lend a hand and always give me good advice. And same with Rick Ramsey. He does the same thing. He'll come up and he'll let me know when things are going good, or if I need to change some things and stuff like that sometimes. And I depend on their guidance a little bit personally.
And I mean, along with all you guys and helping out and Joe and everything, for sure, even you, Mr. Jim Price, also for just, helping us out and interviewing and always supporting local artists and everything like that. But also, I wanted to mention, since it's Mother's Day, special thanks to all the moms out there and the wives and whatever, single moms, everybody out there. And I know a bunch of weird guys playing in bands. If you have girlfriends or wives or moms, it's
put up in the line.
Yeah. So
thank you, Kim.
So thank you for that.
Big thanks to Kim.
We are very grateful and thankful. That's where we come from,
All right. Is there anything else about Nag Champions you'd like to tell our listeners? Anything we haven't touched on with this project that you want to reveal to our listening audience?
Anyone?
Somewhere between dream and reality lies the Nag Champions.
Pretty accurate explanation, yes. There you go.
And I was just going to say, if you could sum it up in 30 words or less, and Ed, I think,
pretty
did
pretty
that.
good.
Very cool. And once again, how can folks obtain the CD or learn more? I guess mention the websites and any other ways in which they can access Nag Champions.
Yeah, once again, you can go to our Bandcamp page. We're on Spotify. We're on YouTube.
Facebook for
is
communications, and we upload to there pretty regularly and respond to everything pretty regularly, I think.
All right. Well, we have one more song we're going to go with at this point. Anything you'd like to say about coffee and cannabis?
Anyone have any comments on this? I don't know. This is I don't know if it's straightforward or not, but it's another one of those kind of just the mellow ones. But instead of the late night, the closing track, the one before Morning Star Afterglow, that was kind of the late night one, and this is maybe the early morning version.
I feel like this is for whatever makes you feel good.
Yeah. I think the people that understand that phrase understand that phrase.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. I want to take a moment to thank you guys for being on the program. Thanks for welcoming me into the Hoffer Studio. I finally have got to see where this place is after hearing about it.
Thanks for coming to
Thank you so
the
much, man.
dungeon.
Yes, thanks.
And ladies and gentlemen, I will mention again, as I say every week, if you like Nag Champions or any of the other bands you're hearing tonight, make sure to get out and see them. Check out their website, get the CD, support local music, and keep it happening here in Central PA. One more from Nag Champions. This is Coffee and Cannabis on the Homegrown Rocker. Nag Champions Mystery Band interview on the Homegrown Rocker, happening Sunday night, 8 to 10 p.m. on 105.9 QWiK Rock, or worldwide at 105.9QWiKRock.com.